A gift that keeps on giving is James Harden. And, when you look at the regular season, James Harden, I think 22 points, 8 assists. We like the Clippers. People thought, oh, you got a healthy Kawhi Leonard. Okay, they can do some damage. They could knock off Denver. They could give Oklahoma City a real tussle. But last night, they were blown. It was a no-show. They were blown out. Or over the weekend, I should say. And then you have, what happened. So the Nuggets end up winning. Golden State ends up winning. Now you got some pretty interesting matchups. But we tend to focus on the team that just lost. So with what happened with the Clippers, and once again, James Harden in a Game 7 is a no-show. Here is his head coach, Ty Lue, on the Clippers losing.
A tough loss, and like I said, not playing our best game in a situation like this, and a lot of emotions. And so just told the guys, bring it in, one last hug. And, we'll talk tomorrow. But, they came out. I thought we came out with a decent mindset. They went to that zone and kind of made us stagnant offensively because of the way we were attacking them. And then I thought, when they went to that zone, it just kind of slowed us down offensively. And then defensively, we didn't really, get into them, get closer to the guys and have that pressure. And so they was able to pick us apart.
Okay. And this isn't all on James Harden, but there is a pattern here. In his last 13 elimination games, James Harden's teams are 2-11. And the numbers are even worse after that. By the way, he was a no-show. After their losses, he didn't meet with the media. But James Harden, now he did have 28 points, I think, Game 6. So I thought, okay, maybe this is going to be different for him. 13 elimination games. He shot 39% from the floor. Team is 2-11. He's averaged 14 points on 38% shooting. And then you look at some of the other numbers here. Steph Curry, 14 career elimination games. He has scored, I think, one time under 20 points. Once in 16 career elimination games. Kevin Durant, under 20 points. LeBron James, 29 career elimination games, has never been held under 20 points. Meanwhile, Harden has scored less than 20 points in 12 of 26 career elimination games, including 7 of his last 13.
Woo! Ow! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! This is the stat of the day!
Brought to you by Panini America. Even more emphatic and embarrassing, James Harden's last 3 Game 7s. He scored 7 points. He scored 9 points. He scored 22 points. He went 2 for 8. He went 3 for 11. That was in a loss to Boston, and 5 of 17 in a loss to Milwaukee back in 2021. I can't have one of my best scorers, one of the great scorers in the history of the league, get 8 shots. Now, he did have double-digit assists. Okay, but I want him to score. I need him to score. I need him to shoot. I mean, I'd rather that he was 2 for 18 than 2 for 8. I got to have him getting shots up. But once again, he no-showed. The Clippers bow out, dramatic fashion. And, we're left to wonder, how many more years, how many more postseasons will you get with Kawhi Leonard, where he's healthy and playing well? And then you got Harden, who had a good regular season, but trying to match them up in the postseason and get maybe some magic here. And you start to look and you go, okay, where do you kind of fit in here? It looks like the Rockets are going to be here to stay. Now, they might add, I know we've talked about Kevin Durant, but, if I'm them, I do what Oklahoma City did. Stay the course, keep your nucleus. I don't want to bring in 35, 36-year-old Kevin Durant. I'm not trying to catch magic in 1 year. I'm going to try to do this, make this sustainable. Make this just like OKC. And OKC is going to be here for a while. Now you have to look and go, if you're the Clippers, where are we? We're kind of in the middle. Denver's gotten depth. They got bench has really contributed. You still got Joker playing at a high level for a few more years. Can Jamal Murray stay healthy? So that could be sustainable for a few more years to be a contender there. Golden State, you're kind of looking at the last go-round, it feels like. or at least maybe one more go-round. What about the Lakers with LeBron? You start to look at where you are in your division, in your conference, and that's what I start to wonder about the Clippers. They're kind of in no man's land. Good team, potentially a really good team. The problem is age, injuries, and you're always going to have James Harden not showing up in big games. But, we sometimes look at these teams as they exit and go, okay, what is the future here? As I said with Detroit, I think they got a bright future. Don't go crazy. And I do think depth is really the important thing to keep an eye on in the playoffs. Denver showed depth. You got to have more than 6, 7 guys. OKC has depth. Cleveland has depth. Indiana has depth. That's sort of the new thing. I don't need 3 stars. I need 2 stars and depth. Celtics, they got a lot of depth. They got 2 big stars, a lot of depth. That's what I would be concentrating on. If I'm trying to build my team or continue to build my team, depth. Don't go out there and get a big ticket item. If you have a young nucleus and you're sold on them, let them grow together. Hopefully you get a star or 2. I mean, OKC has 1 star. He's going to be the MVP. But you have a couple other guys who are at least in the conversation of being a star. And that's really important. But Boston is so deep. Cleveland deep. Indiana deep. Just feels like that's the new wave with, luxury taxes, the apron, as they like to call that. So just some things to keep an eye on in the offseason with these teams. Speaking of Denver, Russell Westbrook Jr. III. This might be as honest of an answer as you're going to get from an athlete who is assessing his talents.
My ability to be able to be a force of nature on the floor is what I pride myself on. So whatever that looks like, it may be a turnover, it may be a missed shot, but it may be a steal, maybe a dunk, maybe a missed 3, maybe a made 3. It's going to be all of that. It's going to be everything. So you just take it for how it comes, and whatever happens, you go with it.
Okay. He's going to help somebody win. I don't know if it's his team or your team, but he's going to help. But he's, and he gives you that jolt of energy coming off the bench. And this used to be so important. We came up with 6th Man of the Year, that award. John Havlicek, I think they invented the award for him with the Celtics. You come off the bench and you give that blast of energy. Kevin McHale was a 6th man. You had guys, Manu Ginobili. They came in and they gave you that boost. That's why I'd love to see Austin Reeves be that 6th man for the Lakers. You come in and all of a sudden you're better than everybody else in that second unit for the other team. And you're able to put up some offense. Russell Westbrook brings you energy. And he had to accept coming off the bench as well. But he's fun. He's fun to watch. Buddy Hield went off last night. He was 9 of 11 from three-point range. And that's one of those where if you're Houston and you go, we're still trailing and Steph Curry hasn't done much, you're in trouble because Buddy Hield went off. And then Steph had like 14 points in the fourth quarter. But that was Golden State showing Houston, hey, nice try, get experience, and then try it again next year. That was the feeling I got with Houston. Thought they were going to be a team to contend with this year. Maybe not a contender, but to contend with, and that proved to be true. And I thought that this was a fact-finding mission. Just like with Detroit, you go into the postseason, let's kind of figure out, what do you need? And you saw a team, you saw a coach, they knew what they were doing in that game. It was just experience. Now, you do have Steph. You didn't think Buddy Hield was going to go off, but with Golden State, it's fun. Fun to see them out there, in the latter stages of careers. Seton, what's poll question today for the first hour?
Well, it feels like we're kind of kicking one around about James Harden's legacy, maybe. Maybe we're going to stumble onto one of those.
But can you think of a first ballot Hall of Famer who is this flawed? Yes.
Well, right. While also he's an absolute Hall of Famer, he's one of the greatest scoring players of all time, probably, right? He's revolutionized the game in how you draw fouls, how you do certain things. He's had a massive impact on the game while maybe not always getting the credit for that. and then unfortunately doesn't have the success to show for it, other than, for the most part, extremely great play.
Yeah, I don't know if there's another NBA comp for this where that guy was so great, then he didn't show up in the postseason. And he's done this with all the teams he's been with. It's not just the Clippers, but to have the highest of highs where you're averaging 35 a game, you change the game, at least with one move that you make, but you kind of look at him, you go, yeah, but. Yeah, Paulie.
James Harden led the league in scoring 3 years in a row. He's led the league in assists 2 times. Really, the only modern-day comp might be Russell Westbrook. Russell led the league in scoring twice. He's led the league in assists 3 times. And Russell had the bonus of he had 4 different seasons where he averaged 10 or more rebounds, which is nuts.
Yeah, but it's weird. I never look at Russell Westbrook as that's the guy I got to stop. Like I was always curious about him. You know, he wasn't a good shooter. He scored, but Harden, I think you look at and you go, nobody can stop him. Like when he gets on a run, nobody's going to stop him. Russ didn't shoot well enough where you go, man, you got to stop that. Now his jumper looks pretty good. He hit a couple of big shots, couple of threes, and I go, the form looks really good. Now I know he's hit the side of the backboard and done, you know, he'll miss some. When he misses, like he'll miss really bad. But I think I expect Harden to win more, to be the guy in these big moments. I think with Russ, I just thought that, okay, he's still that curiosity. He's going to give you a triple-double, but he's also going to help the other team. I never felt that way with Harden until you look at these Game 7s. You look at his postseasons. I mean, I don't know if there's another comp here. Marvin, you got one? Anybody who comes to mind?
It's crazy because I don't. In the Game 7s, it's really what separates him from other guys where that's a glaring omission because he's had so many no-shows in big-time Game 7s. He was a part of that Game 7 where the Rockets missed 27 straight three-pointers.
Yeah.
They almost took out the 73-win Warriors.
Yeah.